Have you ever noticed that in any group of people, there are one, maybe two people who get all the attention? Have you ever wondered why that is? Is it how they look, how they act, who they are, or some combination of the above? It's easy to chalk it up to obvious things like fame or power, but what is going on when someone who has none of that is still the most interesting person in the room, to you and to others? If you are already the most charming and charismatic person in any room, maybe skip this episode and come back for the next one. But if, like me, you've always wondered if you could begin to generate outsized charisma with just the tools you already have, stick around. In today's episode of No More Illusions, we'll reveal a damaging illusion that keeps people not only from having better results for themselves, but prevents them from making other people's lives better. By the end of the episode, you will have learned a simple, cost-free way to increase your charisma with any person and in any room. It's a topic I feel very passionate about, so this episode may be a little bit longer than my usual episodes, but I promise, if you stick around, your charisma abilities will increase dramatically once you start applying a single insight I will share. Welcome to No More Illusions, the podcast where we help you see clearly so you can soar. I'm your host, Kwon, the Connection Counselor. Today's illusion, and I really hope you will come to see that this is an illusion, is that when you think about charisma and yourself, you think, I'll never have charisma. Ever walk into a room with someone with outsized charisma? You know the type. People gravitate toward them with a magnetic pull. They seem to be the center of the universe, with people listening deeply, laughing fully, and just mesmerized by anything and everything they say or do. And if you're an introvert like me, or just a normal human being, an average person, and I use that in the most complimentary sense of the word, you'd be forgiven for thinking, wow, they must have been born with that. I could never be like them. I just don't have the looks, skills, or presence to have that sort of charisma. Well, I'm here to tell you that you are wildly mistaken. Mostly. Okay, the truth is, having good looks or a great skill like conversation, comedy, telling a story, etc., all of these are helpful, and you may never get to the level of that person. But the critical point, the important point I want you to remember is when it comes to having charisma, that does not matter. It is not what actually generates charisma. Thinking those qualities or skills are what generates charisma is a huge misunderstanding about how charisma, including the charisma that that person is exuding, is actually generated. And when you understand what actually generates charisma, that's the first step. That's when you can start generating outsized charisma yourself. The quickest and easiest way for me to explain this to you, and I go into more detail in my book, Unlock Your Charisma, is to share with you my definition of charisma. Charisma is the ability to sense and deliver exactly what is needed from an emotional perspective in a given moment. One more time. Charisma is the ability to sense and deliver exactly what is needed from an emotional perspective in a given moment. When I was sharing this concept with my buddy and colleague Luis Rosado, he shared a funny story that validated how this framework really worked. He was going to a gathering with some colleagues after we spoke, and I explained my definition. He tried to anticipate what this gathering needed emotionally to be successful. In the past, it could be a bit awkward as it's coworkers and not friends gathering, so people can have their guards up. So he came up with the idea to bring a Bluetooth speaker to play some music that would relax everyone and make it more fun. Sure enough, when he arrived at the park, people were milling around and not really connecting with each other, sort of just clinging to the people they already knew, guilty of that, which was not the point. So he busted out the music and the mood shifted immediately. And the best part was he was recognized as a great person to be there, a charismatic person. And though Luis is already a handsome dude, impeccably dressed at all times, a great speaker, and an all-around great person, he didn't need any of those things to generate charisma in that moment. Let's break it down. He sensed. In this case in advance, though you can do it in the moment too, he sensed that what was needed was a way for people to relax and connect. And by bringing the speaker and picking the right tunes, he delivered what was needed emotionally, the sense of community that everyone was seeking, but was finding it hard to relax enough to find. Now, it's important to share that it could have been something else entirely that he did. It could have been jokes, he's not a stand-up comedian, or it could have been food or beverages, not sure what the budget was. The point is, you have tons of options, so you do you. It doesn't matter what other people have done or could do. It does matter what you do and what you can do, and the fact that it is going to match what is needed by the person or the group in that moment. Okay, before I go, I just want to address the elephant in the room. What about good looks, sparkling conversation, big titles, all those things that seem to correlate very much with the charismatic people you know? Now remember, for those of you like myself who love psychology or psych majors, correlation is not causation, right? Just because the two things seem to exist together does not mean you can tell definitively that one causes the other. Ask yourself, how might those operate in a way that the people who are responding to these things, and not everyone is responding in the same way, how might these things be giving people what they need emotionally? How might these characteristics be a shortcut in some instances? You will see the truth of the matter when one of the people who just has charisma does something very negative from an emotional needs perspective or takes advantage and ignores what you need. All of a sudden, this charming, always charismatic person seems to lose their charm, and you start to think that, hey, maybe they were really more just style over substance. Once you understand how charisma works, you will never be able to unsee it. What I highly recommend to everyone I coach is the next time you are in a room with someone you find charismatic, ask what emotional need are they filling for you? Or better yet, the next time you're in a room with someone others find charismatic, but you do not, ask yourself what might be going on inside those other people versus what is going on inside you. And that's the difference. It will be as clear as day. I promise you. So, practical applications. We like to be practical in No More Illusions. Where can you use this? You can use it in interviews. When the interviewer feels better emotionally after speaking to you, more hopeful, more confident, more excited to start working with you, what do you think happens to your chances? In group settings, when the people in a group see you as a key player, as the person who helps everyone else be better, what do you think happens to your stature and opportunities in the group? And what do you think are your chances of being invited back to join this group in the future, especially for great opportunities? In your relationships, whether you're in a romantic relationship or looking to begin one, what would be the impact if every time the person you are with or interested in being with felt that their emotional needs, the one that they have in the moment you are together are being met. That you are not just there, but you see them and you are with them. And finally, how about with your kids? What if you have a kid who is having a tough time at school, with their classes, maybe with their friends or with a teacher? What if instead of trying to solve it for them, or worse, interrogating them, you just supported what they needed in the moment emotionally? How much more open do you think they would be eventually? And how much more curious about your opinions? And how much more willing do you think they would be to ask you for advice to make things better instead of just venting all the time? It's a weird thing that we do as parents when our kids are desperate for us to help them, but we respond in ways that make it impossible for them to want or accept our help. Not because we aren't a great resource or can help them, but because they don't feel seen by us as a human being, as an equal in that sense, rather than a lower class family member. I hope this illusion can help you be more charismatic in all the moments that matter the most for you. I explore this more deeply and provide practical approaches in my book, Unlock Your Charisma, Feel Like a Star. If you're curious, you can check it out on Amazon or Audible. So let's wrap it up. The illusion today was, I'll never have charisma. The reality is, nobody has charisma. It's always generated, like a dialogue between two people. And when you connect to people in the right way, you will be charismatic. The greatest thing about having more charisma, in my humble opinion, is not how you get more for yourself. It's how you make the world a better place by making it better for one other person. So really, you owe it to others to be more charismatic. It's not really about getting more for yourself. I like to think about it that way. If you like the show, please follow it on Spotify. It really helps us that you follow us. And if you have a story about charisma or a topic you'd like to hear more about, I'd love to hear from you. Just leave a comment or reach out to me directly at joe@connectioncounselor.com. I read every email and respond as I can. Thanks for listening to No More Illusions. I'm Joe Kwon, the Connection Counselor. Remember, clarity reveals, illusion steals.